The Minnesota Timberwolves are in a pretty rough situation, and to be fair, that doesn't even need to be said. They're only 22-23, and before the season, after the Rudy Gobert trade, they were projected by multiple different articles to go over 50 wins. I've even seen some people claim that they're going to have over 60 wins and have the first seed. But obviously, there's no way that's going to happen. While, yes, they did have a relatively big injury back in November when they lost Karl-Anthony Towns to a right calf sprain, they still have all their main key players healthy. They could have been competing for a championship, but whenever they grabbed Rudy Gobert, it seemed like everything kind of went downhill. They went and they got Rudy Gobert for their 2023, 25, 27, and 2029 first-round picks, along with some key role players like Pat Bev and Malik Beasley. Now, the Minnesota Timberwolves are about 9th in the Western Conference, and whenever you look at the standings, you'll find out something that I think is extremely funny. The Utah Jazz are one spot ahead of them in the Western Conference. Rudy Gobert is 30 years old, and he has taken a little bit of a step down. He went from averaging around 15.6 points to 13.6. He went from averaging 14.7 rebounds to about 11.8 rebounds. And he took a dip in his blocks per game, going from 2.1 to 1.3. I think the big thing that he did take a step up on is averaging 0.9 steals per game, which is the highest in his entire career. Now, although I do not 100% agree that it is Rudy Gobert's fault that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going downhill, I mean, they did hire former Nuggets GM who kind of came in here and messed it all up in the first place. Rudy is 7-2 and combined for 12 points in his last 3 games, and especially since he had a 4-point game against Phoenix, who are also in rough shape, and I might make a video about them in the future. It's just not looking good. Rudy Gobert's last 3 games, he has put up in the exact same stat line that a 12 minutes per game role player would put up. 12 points, 1 assist, and 4 for 5 for shooting. And you're not really able to put this blame of why they're so bad on anybody else in the starting lineup. D'Angelo Russell is having a overall productive year, averaging 17 points per game, and he's had 5 double-doubles this year. Anthony Edwards is having his best statistical year by far in every single category, when he's averaging 24 points per game almost. And even Kyle Anderson is stepping up a little bit, even having a triple-double last night against the Utah Jazz. Now, I understand I'm going to have some people in the comments potentially saying, oh, well, offense is not Rudy Gobert's biggest skill set. Yes, I understand that. But then again, he's 7'2", and he's working in the post. And you're telling me that the best he's been able to get is 12 points in his last 3 games? Are you joking right now? Now, I'm not hating on Rudy Gobert. I think Rudy Gobert is one of the greatest defensive centers of the 2010s, maybe even of the 2000s. He's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, and I believe a 6-time All-Defensive. And along with that, I mean, I've talked very highly about him and how I believe he should have been drafted higher. I mean, he was in a horrible 2013 draft class that I remember very vividly, and he was drafted very late, I believe 27th if I'm not wrong. I also find it funny because there's kind of a lot of parallels between these two teams. Rudy Gobert was drafted by the Denver Nuggets and was traded before ever playing a game there. The GM that the Timberwolves hired came from the Denver Nuggets, and Malik Beasley, that was involved in the trade, came originally from the Denver Nuggets. So, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny. But anyways, that's going to do it. If you guys like this video or have any harsh criticisms of my harsh takes on Rudy Gobert, please leave them in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.